Not sure how to use your paper trimmer? Well, I can help. Hello, I am Katie from thecraftyblogStalker.com, and if you're new to my channel, make sure to hit that subscribe button. A paper trimmer probably feels like a straightforward tool, but if you don't use it correctly, then you aren't going to get nice straight cut lines, which is what you want with the paper trimmer. I am using the Fisker's Precision paper trimmer, and this is my favorite trimmer. I purchased it in 2016 and it is still going strong. It has a ruler, so it cuts without the ruler up to 6 inches. And with the ruler, it goes up to 15 inches long. The width is 12 inches, so I can cut up to 12 by 15. My very favorite feature of this paper trimmer is it has a small wire in there. Let me grab a piece of paper so I can show you a little bit better. Hopefully you can see that there in the camera. There is a small little wire in there. And that shows you exactly where you're going to cut. It just goes right directly over that track that the blade slides on, so you can see exactly where you're going to cut. I'll show you in a minute why that feature is so awesome. With this trimmer, you can also use it in any direction. Technically, this is the top where it says Fisker's, and the ruler comes out that way. You can see because the numbers are facing the correct direction. But for whatever reason, I always like to cut with the cutter upside down. Then I can hold the paper with my right hand and just cut with my left hand. That's just my preference. You, of course, can do it however you want. Let's start with an 8.5 by 11 piece of cardstock. I want to cut this paper in half. Since the length is 11, to cut that in half is 5.5 inches. To cut my paper, I open this flap and I put my paper underneath. You can either push it to the top, there's a ledge there, or there's a ledge on the bottom. I always push it to the bottom, again, just personal preference. Then I follow the measurements there along the bottom of the paper trimmer. You always want to make sure that you put that paper flush against that bar, that end bar on your paper trimmer. And that is going to help you get a straight line with the blade. I'm cutting at 5.5, so I move my paper so it's on that 5.5 inch line. Then I close the flap. It's always better to cut into the base that you're using as that flat edge. Since my paper is lined up against this flat edge, I want to bring my blade down. If I was cutting against the top edge, I'd bring my blade down, close it, and then push up. This will also help you get a nice straight line. Whoop. It comes out, it's okay. It just slides back in. If I was bringing it down, when I bring that blade down, it can put pressure on my paper, causing it to turn like this. And then I won't get that nice straight cut. So I'll bring it down here, measure that against my 5.5 inch line, close that flap, and I'm going to bring my blade down. I'm gonna hold it with my right hand and just bring that blade down. It cut my paper perfectly, nice and straight, because I was against this bottom base of my paper trimmer. What some people will do is take their paper and not butt it up against the bottom or the top, and they'll just put it there in the center somewhere and close it. And then when they go to cut, since there's nothing to brace the paper, it will begin to slide. Always make sure that you're butted either against the bottom or the top, whatever your preference is. Here I have some printable bookmarks that I have available for free that you can grab from my website. And I want to show you how to cut these out, because I can't just put these down and say, okay, I need these 2 by 7 because there's this border around them. This is when that little wire inside comes in handy. Let's move my blade all the way up, and I can scoot my paper in until that little wire meets the top of my printed out design, because then I know exactly where to cut. If you don't have this wire in your paper trimmer, it's a guessing game. You think you're lined up on that track, but you don't know for sure. But you do know for sure with that precision wire. I can cut it and it is cut there perfectly. That makes my bookmarks perfect so I don't have the white border around them. I'll do that again. I'm pushing all the way against the bottom of my paper trimmer along that bar, and I'm just going to line up the bottom of my bookmarks with that precision wire in my paper trimmer. Bring that blade to the top and pull down. See how much easier that is to cut when you don't have an exact measurement. You have that wire to help you find where you need to cut. Look at how perfect that is. So cute. A question I get asked a lot is how many pieces of paper can you cut at a single time with the paper trimmer? And the answer to that really does vary. It depends on your paper trimmer, on how new your blade is, and also the thickness of your paper. All paper has a different thickness. It's usually calculated by weight. I've got some 60-pound cardstock here, and I'm gonna cut 2 pieces. I'm gonna make sure they're nice and even. I'm gonna go against the bottom of my paper trimmer. We'll do 5.5. So I'm lining it up on that 5.5-inch line and bring my blade down. I can tell just by feeling that it's a little bit harder to pull down, but these did cut fairly well. Now we've got 4. Let's see how it cuts with 4. I'm just gonna go at 5. I'm gonna pull that down. Again, it's even more difficult. I didn't cut all the way through. See, I've got some there. I'd have to go over it a couple times. Cut through all of those layers. It really just depends on your preference. Like you saw earlier, these blades do come out, and sometimes they fall out when you don't want them to, but they just snap back in place. You can replace these blades when they get dull. I think in the 10 years I've had this trimmer, I've replaced this maybe once, and I do a lot of crafting. So you really don't have to replace the blades that often. I hope I answered your questions about paper trimmers and maybe gave you some helpful tips on ways that you can use it. If I didn't answer those questions, make sure to leave comments below and I will answer them as quickly as possible. If you want more fun and free craft tutorials, make sure to visit my website, thecraftyblogStalker.com. Thanks everyone. Bye and happy crafting.